In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. One of the topics we'll be looking at today is word extension prefixes. Word extension prefixes, unlike reversative prefixes, which form the antonym of words, form new words with new meanings. That is, word extension prefixes are prefixes which form new words with new meanings. Some of these prefixes are miss, mal, co, counter, ex, for, mono, multi, inter, and post. Each of these prefixes has a distinct meaning when added to a word. Meanings of these prefixes are explained in the table below. Miss, meaning something has been done wrongly or badly. Mal, the same thing, something has been done badly or wrongly. That's the meaning. Co, which may mean together with. Counter means opposite. Ex means former. For means before or in advance. Mono may mean one or single. Multi may mean more than one. Inter may mean between or from one to another. And post may mean after. Here are some illustrative examples to back up the explanation above. When you add the prefix miss to the word behave, you form the word misbehave. When you add miss to quote, you have misquote. When you add miss to appropriate, you have misappropriate. When you add mal to nutrition, you have malnutrition. When you add mal to nourish, you have malnourished. When you add mal to administration, you have maladministration. When you add co to dependency, you have codependency. When you add co to exist, you have coexist. When you add co to author, you have co-author. When you add counter to claim, you have counterclaim. When you add counter to revolution, you have counter-revolution. When you add counter to productive, you have counterproductive. When you add X to president, you have ex-president. When you add X to governor, you have ex-governor. When you add X to permanent, you have ex-permanent. When you add for to knowledge, you have foreknowledge. When you add for to doomed, you have foredoomed. When you add for to see, you have foresee. When you add mono to syllable, you have monosyllable. When you add mono to lingual, you have monolingual. When you add mono to cotyledon, you have monocotyledon. When you add multi to color, you have multicolor. When you add multi to purpose, you have multipurpose. When you add multi to dimensional, you have multidimensional. When you add inter to national, you have international. When you add inter to continental, you have intercontinental. When you add inter to changeable, you have interchangeable. When you add post to scripts, you have postscript. When you add post to war, you have post-war. When you add post to graduate, you have postgraduate. So that's going to be the end of our discussion on prefixes. Now we move to the counterpart, suffix. What is suffix? A suffix is a letter or a group of letters that is added at the end of an existing word to form a new word. The addition of these letters or group of letters changes the meaning and the part of speech to which a word belongs. Examples here. Example 1 here, you have CIDE, side. Before this group of letters, there is an hyphen. You would observe that, contrary to discussions on prefix, The hyphen here comes before the group of letters, while for the prefix, the hyphen comes after the group of letters. So it means that here in suffix, the word to be attached has to be at the front, while suffix is added at the end of the word. Example here, when you add side to the word insect, you have the word insecticide. When you add side to germ, you have germicide. When you add ment to govern, you have government. When you add ment to induce, you have inducement. When you add this y here, which is e here, to the word juice, you have juicy. When you add it to honest, you have honesty. When you add age to line, you have lineage. When you add age to break, you have breakage. When you add Aryan to humanity, you have humanitarian. When you add Aryan to discipline, you have disciplinarian. When you add ness to bitter, you have bitterness. When you add ness to useful, you have usefulness. When you add full to the word grace, you have graceful. When you add full to care, you have careful. When you add all to tradition, you have traditional. When you add all to critic, you have critical. When you add Asian to separate, you have separation. When you add Asian to infirm, you have information. When you add able to value, you have valuable. When you add able to rely, you have reliable. Dear student, that's going to be the end of our discussion on prefixes and suffixes. On our lesson 3, we have the topic creative writing. In one way or the other, every single person must have once experienced something that cannot just leave the memory. One may have witnessed some situations, either good or bad, and decide to enlighten the public about the knowledge gained through that situation. Putting words together, coupled with flowery language, to build up an interesting story is the business of creative writing. Now, what is creative writing? Creative writing is a work of art that expresses the writer's thoughts and feelings in an imaginative, often unique and poetic way. In other words, creative writing is the reflection of our imaginative power. Purpose and imagination are the driving force used to express thoughts, feelings, and emotions rather than simply convey information. So, when a student creatively produces a literary work to express his or her feelings rooted in either experience, history, or his observation through a prose, drama, or poetry, then that work is called creative writing. Now, short story. A short story has the same features as narrative essay. It falls under one of the three aspects of creative writing, the prose. It is a narration created from the writer's imagination or factual knowledge of events that happened. Features of a short story. When writing a short story, the following must be observed. Number 1 is the theme. A short story must have a central point from which a story is developed. Number 2, plot. There must be a storyline, that is, the order the story follows to develop the theme. 3, characters. These are the agents who took part in the events of the story. Creating dialogue, that is interaction between the agent, brings the story to life. So there must be characters in a short story. Number 4 is setting. The story must show where and when, that is time and place, an action took place. 5 is plot structure. The story must have a beginning, a climax, and a conclusion. In other words, there must be introduction of conflict, rising of conflict, and resolution of conflict. There is the liberty to start from any of these phases. That is, a writer may decide to start from where the resolution of conflict takes place, or where the conflict rises, or the introduction of conflict. That's what this means. Number 6 is language. Since the story is a recollection of what happened in the past, the narration must be written in the past tense, except where there is dialogue. Dialogue, humor, anecdotes, and rhetorical questions should be employed to enrich the story. The narration can be written in different points of views. These are either the first person, that is the adoption of the pronoun I or we, or the writer may decide to use the third person to narrate the third, using the third person pronoun, that is either he or she uses he, she, or they as a third person narrative point of view. The story must present imagery that appeals to the senses in describing characters, situations, or events. For instance, when you look at the example below, the car screeched to a halt, and 3 hefty, fierce-looking men jumped out of it. I held my breath and tiptoed to the back of the house. The car screeched to a halt, and 3 hefty, fierce-looking men jumped out of it. I held my breath and tiptoed to the back of the house. The focus word, which creates some sense of imagery, are screeched, 3 hefty, fierce-looking, jumped. I held my breath and tiptoed. These are the expressions that create the scene, the event in the reader's mind. So the reader sees himself or herself as being present when the situation or the event was taking place. So with these words in bold, the reader would vividly see imaginatively but how the situation or how the event occurred. So that's all for this week. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase our knowledge and understanding. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.